All right, guys. Hope everybody's doing well, ladies. Amanda, I see you down there in the corner. I don't know why, he doesn't let ladies go first instead of old people, but he lets Jerry go first on his patio there. But I can tell you this, we're fired up to start camp. It's been 142 days since we walked out of the door on March 17th. That March 17th date will never be forgotten by me. And you sit there and you're sitting at home going through all these Zoom calls, and you're wondering, are we ever going back to work? And then you watch the news at night, and I'm a news person, at least national news, and watching what's going on. I think, with our sponsor behind us, UPMC, I think, obviously we're blessed to be in the city of Pittsburgh and have them as not only a sponsor, but someone that's working with, with our kids, our staff, and our university. So, we're happy to be here. Obviously, our kids reported yesterday. We had our summer access period, which we were allowed to have 12 days of 14 total days. We were allowed to work out 12 of the 14. I ended up giving them Wednesday off. So we really only got 11 of the 12 that we used. I just thought they'd worked their tails off. We were getting a lot of work in. I want to keep them a little bit fresh going into camp. So we gave them Wednesday off. Thursday, we had a low intensity, morning workout, last access period. And then, reported to camp. To give you a little bit of reporting, this reporting date, and we have a winner's manual every year, and the winner's manual is all jacked up because of it's just change. There is, everybody talks about the new normal. I mean, every day is a new day. But the night before training camp started, I guess, I kind of made an executive decision to take our kids out of the hotel. So usually they stay in the Spring Hill Suites up the road. I think it's kind of news, just so they're not there. We broke camp, and usually I stay in the hotel with them, but I thought it was important, as I was sitting there thinking about what's going on, and, I thought it was important that we don't change their living arrangements. I mean, we had been really good where our kids are living. What they're doing right now, they're doing good. So why would I, disrupt it, have them, stay in a hotel and change something? Practicing and tackling people is going to be new enough. We don't need two new things at the same time. I just thought tracing-wise, it's going to be smarter for us to know that, hey, it didn't happen in the hotel because we're not staying in a hotel. So their living arrangements not changing. Let's keep things consistent, from a safety standpoint, because it's all about them. Now, obviously, as a head coach, I'd like to have them in there, know where they are. I got them all together in a group. It's easier to bed check. We're bed checking our guys that live in the Bridge on the Forbes, and our older guys that live in apartments and houses. We're not bed checking. I think they're responsible enough to do that on their own. So that's kind of how camp opened up. We had a great, meeting day yesterday, and today was our first practice, which I thought was really, really good. Of first practices, in my 6 first practices at the University of Pittsburgh, I thought this was the smoothest, okay? Now, I'm a positive guy, but I really thought, and I'll go back and watch the tape because I always tell you guys, I'm going to watch the tape first, but just the sharpness of our kids. I didn't see any huge busts on offense or defense. I didn't see one turnover, and we haven't, really taken a snap. And, there wasn't one turnover. I should say there was one pick. There was one pick. Paris Ford got a pick today. I don't think there was another pick, but, no fumbles on the ground, mishandled snaps, those types of things. We were really clean on offense. Seemed like, for the most part, guys know where they're going, which is a tribute to all those summer access walkthrough periods we had. So I was really excited about practice today. And the last thing I'll start open up with is, last week you asked me about roster things, and I knew I was in in position to make a kind of a roster move. So we made it one roster move. So I'll give you it all together. We had 113 players report to camp. As you know, the NCAA said we could get to our Title IX number, which is 115. And we would have probably got to 115. But we have, 2 that are out. Dontavius Butler-Jenkins, I'll start with him. As you guys know, has had some injury problems in his last couple of years. Hurt a knee, I'll never forget. I mean, as a young guy, ran a dig in the indoor facility, broke about the 15-yard line, turned up, and went down with a probably pretty serious knee injury that really has never been the same. So Dontavius is out with a medical, and he's a year away from getting his degree. So obviously he'll be here on a scholarship getting his degree and being with his brothers. So we're obviously disappointed that Dontavius is not going to be able to finish it out. But we certainly understand the medical aspect, and he's been gimping around. The poor kid just gimping around, trying to do it, trying to practice hard. It just, those knees are tight. They're tough, I should say. And then the other one is Rashad Wheeler, who has graduated and is moving on with life. So and then the other roster move is John Barzil. We have put on scholarship. I talked to John 2 days ago and put him on scholarship. So he's our first walk-on of the year that has received a scholarship. Actually, our team doesn't know that yet. I kind of told John to keep it quiet. I wanted to put him on before camp started. He's done an incredible job for us as a student athlete here. He's a great student. He's great on campus. He's a great team player, and he's a heck of a receiver. You guys know he played some a little bit last year as a punt returner. We trust him back there. I mean, he's a guy that you can trust, and I know he's going to be much better this year. And again, we expect him to be much better in the years going forward. So he's a guy that's just a team guy, and I'm excited for him and his family that he's got a scholarship. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. Jerry, you're up. Can't hear you.
How you doing, Pat? How you doing?
I'm doing excellent.
All right, thank you. My question is, and there's thousands of them, and I'm sure you'll be everybody hit you with all of them, but there's about a talk this year about all the talent, all the physical talent that this team has this year. Defense, a third-year starting quarterback. But what about some of the intangibles that championship teams have to have? What are kind of things you're seeing from these guys on the field and off the field that go beyond just football skills?
Yeah, the intangibles, there's a bunch of them. And again, we worked on it this morning in quiet time today. We talk about team. So it's how close we get together. And I think that's going to be a critical one, Jerry, just the intangibles. It's team chemistry. It's how much players love each other and are going to work for each other. And, I say this all the time. We have a lot of individual talent. And I told the guys this morning. But, talent only gets you so far. Do we have a bunch of first rounders? We'll find out. But, you can have a bunch of individuals and not play as a team and not get where you need to go. But I know this, if you have a great team with great talent, those players need everybody to come together. We got to play together, 11 guys on that field at a time. And that's how you become a great team. And that's how those guys that, that maybe got some of those preseason accolades, get bigger accolades and become even bigger because they have their teammates around them. I mean, Kenny Pickett cannot, be a top quarterback in the country if he doesn't have blocking for him and receivers catching. Okay. I mean, if there's drops like we had last year, it's, everybody's going to be yelling at Kenny, like, come on, Kenny, what are you doing? It's like, someone's got to catch the football. Same thing on defense. If we're getting sacks, that's because of what's happening in the secondary. So we've got to work as a team. And the big thing is worry about the team. Don't worry about you. Worry about your team first. And when the team is all good, then you will be fine. Okay. And I think that's the big thing. But, you talk about chemistry and team and working together and caring for each other. And I think those are the things we need, Jerry.
Pat, really quick with Dontavius, is his career done with Pitt, or is he just out for the season?
He's out for the season. He's going to graduate. He just can't. He's not going to step on the field again yet. So he's done. He'll be at the University of Pittsburgh. He'll be finishing up his degree. He just finished taking a summer school course. He's just not going to. It just physically can't play. It's a medical. It just hurts. I can relate. I've had 6 knee surgeries. So I know when you get to that point where you're like, and luckily I just kind of kept pushed through it. But I was a slow linebacker. He's a receiver that it takes a lot of, there's a lot of cutting going on, at the receiver position and a lot of running more than the linebacker position. So, it's stuff that happens. I mean, it's wear and tear, and everybody's body's a little bit different.
Sure. And then I know I asked you this last week, but I feel like things change so much daily that I kind of have to ask again with a flurry of guys opting out across the country, up to 27 now as of today.
27, you said?
Yeah, 27 in the FBS. I mean, do you guys have anyone who have made that decision in the last week, or are you guys still good?
No, I like I said, I would have gave you that update if we had one. We'd announce it immediately if we did. But again, we're at 113, came into camp. We've got nobody opting out. I think we got guys opting in. I think all our guys are in. But you know what? It's a day by day. It's a day by day. If kids start to get scared, you understand what's going on, and you look at some guys that have declared, and if they're bona fide first round guys, maybe it's a good idea. I don't know. But it also comes down. I don't. It's like I could opt out coaching too. Like I'd go crazy. I want to coach the game, and I think our players want to. Our players are so excited to get out there today and go. I want to coach the game. I mean, I think our players want to play the game. There's a love there, and again, I think it also comes down to you're having fun, what you're doing, and I think, again, I knock on wood, our kids are having fun. I'm blessed to have the team we have. I'm blessed that they haven't opted out. Because, anybody could, I guess, at any time, but our guys, our guys don't want to opt out. They want to play together. And again, we'll see how this thing goes too. I mean, today's day one. But you'd understand if someone, I've talked to them. I think I've said this before. I've talked to them about it. I've said, guys, you got a scholarship. If that's what you want to do, that's what you have to do. I want guys that are all in, and the guys that are worried about it won't play very good. So it's probably better off that they step away and wait for next year, wait till the weather clears, I guess. But we've been fortunate right now, because I read the same thing you do. I didn't know 27, and obviously I was at practice today, so something happened today probably. I've heard of some of the guys in some of the schools, but
yeah, Maryland had like 5 or 6 guys like this morning. So yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Pat, we also talked to you last week about your schedule, and you knew who, but you didn't know the order. I want to ask you why Miami of Ohio for the non-conference, and what do you think about the first 4 being at home?
Well, we've prepared for Miami of Ohio. So, obviously, it's kind of nice to have that opener where it is. Obviously, they had an open date. It'd only work if they had an open date, because originally we had them September 5th, but it was an open date. It worked out. So I think it's a great opener. I think they're excited. They got a great football team. I think they're really good. I think they're very, very well coached. And again, there's some history with me at Miami of Ohio twice. And so I'm glad that we get to, I've never played Miami of Ohio except for back in 2002 was the last time I played against Miami of Ohio, I believe. So we're excited to play them again. And then, the first 4 games at home, I'm excited about that, really excited about it, and again, the main reason is for the safety of our kids. You talk about the consistency of our guys living in their in their dorms and apartments right now. And it's the same thing for 4 weeks. We don't have to get on an airplane. And I think I mentioned last week, I didn't really want to go on an airplane and, fly to, Mexico and the Bahamas and in Italy. I didn't want the longest trips that we could possibly have, but I am happy that we're going to have an opportunity to play at home and see how that works first. We'll get that thing under control, and then we will then head on the road and do what we got to do. But I'm excited about the home games that we have, and and how they're ordered right now. And like I said, I was excited about every one of our opponents, so I'm excited, and I'm really excited to go down to Clemson last game of the season. So that'll be the finale.
What about that next week? You have an off week in week 13 when everybody else is still playing. Do you feel like you ended up with only 1 off week, whereas everyone else in the conference got 2 kind of in the middle of the season?
You know what? Like I told our team as soon as we got that, I was excited that I think we have 7 games first and then an open week. I think, an open week after week 3 is, like no good. Like I want to go unless you get really banged up. If you had asked me, when do I want my bye? I'd say week 5, 6, or 7. I don't want it 9, 10. I don't want it 2 or 3, to be honest with you. So I like where it is. There's a lot of things I could ask for, but, I'm happy with what we've got right now.
Newcomers, you have KJ Wilson coming in on the offensive line. Where is he working out to start?
He's starting at right tackle. Coach Borbley has really moved some guys around. He really wants those guys to get a chance to play. I mean, he's like, hey, coach, I'm going to try this guy here. And I'm like, okay, he's just working guys, especially through the access period. But he's at right tackle right now. Gabe is there as well. We're just trying to find out who our 5 best guys are. And then we're going to get the 5 best on the field and then plug in that 6th and 7th guy. But, he's been impressive since he's been here. Number one, he's an unbelievable young man. I can't wait for you guys to get a chance to meet him, talk with him. I think you guys will really like him as a person. We liked him as a person on the phone. He had steak and lobster last night. He didn't have steak and lobster, at Hampton, I know. So he, enjoyed the meal over there. I mean, he got a big smile on his face. And that's kind of what we like to do, is put smiles on people's faces. So he's having fun. He's very athletic. He's going to make us better. Where's he going to fit in the puzzle? We got a lot of time to figure that out. But, I can tell you this, he's going to be an offensive lineman. Okay. But I think he's athletic, enough to play tackle. I believe Patrick Jones might have ran by him today. It's kind of like, ooh, who's that guy? But he's only going to keep getting better. Who's the roadies there, Steven? What's this roadie stuff here going on?
I think my mom found that at a yard sale. I have family from Rhode Island, so we're very well connected.
Put that in the background for me, didn't you? Look at that. Roadies.
Yes, especially for you. I actually have a question about kind of how you feel about the return to classes. So Pitt hasn't announced when in-person classes will resume again. Are you comfortable playing a season if the university hasn't yet deemed it safe to return to in-person classes?
Yeah, well, I believe they have. I think we are starting in-person classes on the 15th. No, on the 19th, excuse me. On Wednesday, the 19th, I have a fly running around my office. I think it's EJ's coffee that he left on my table here. We are starting classes on the 15th. I've got a daughter that's going to be a freshman, so I know she's got at least 3, maybe 4 classes that are in person. I know I think there's, it's hybrid learning right now. Our kids have the opportunity to choose kind of what they want to do. I don't know if my freshman daughter did have a choice, but I'm like, go to it. Go to class, wear your mask, and wash your hands, and stay away from people as much as you can. So I'm really not concerned. Even with my own daughter, I think if you act responsible, good things can happen. If you're careless, bad things can happen. But I'm really not worried about when school starts, to be honest with you. But not, like I said, I'm a positive guy. I know this is a dangerous deal. But I just think, again, I don't worry about our football team. I worry about everybody else out there, But I feel like if we've got, as a team, our masks on and we protect ourselves, that at least, I can't control everybody. I can control, my 113 guys in our team meeting room, and we'll just continue to educate them, and they'll have their choice. I believe, and that's what we told them the other day, between, hey, do you want to go to class? And everybody has their preference. Some kids like the Zoom classes. Some want to be in person. If it's a speech class, maybe it's hard to have a speech class, zoomed in, but, you may want to go to that class. So it depends on, what class you have. And, the kids have options now, which I think is a good thing. I think everybody likes options. Larry's got a chance to either go in the office or he can do his stuff from home. Larry might choose to do it from home.
Yeah, I have no choice, Coach. I'm on the front line at the studio every day.
Beautiful. I like your background there.
Thank you.
Coach, yesterday Governor Wolf suggested Pennsylvania high schools don't have sports for the fall. How will that impact your attempts at recruiting?
Oh, Billy. Hey, good to see you, Billy. You look good. Look good there, young man. How will it affect our recruiting? Well, again, I don't know how long that, I saw someone on Twitter said, good morning to everybody except the governor. I'm like, come on. Good morning, Governor. Governor's doing what he's got to do to keep people safe. And I can't answer, what the governor does for high school football. I know this, not being able to have kids in camps affects our recruiting. I think this year, 2021 class, we're going to be okay because we kind of had an idea who they are. Where it's really going to kill you is, what tape are we watching for the 2022 class? It's going to be the next class. It's like, what are we going to look? I mean, you go down to Virginia, they're not playing football. If PA, in fact, and again, I just, I don't know if that was just a flare or, I guess, again, I was working late last night, so I'm not sure exactly how deep that was, or that was, he said that, but didn't really mean it. I'm not sure. So I don't want to speak too much on something that I really haven't been filled in on. But it would definitely affect, if they aren't playing, it will definitely affect recruiting. It will affect the kids. I mean, we got high school coaches right now talking about their 21 class, like, Coach, I feel bad for my kids. What can I do? What can I do to get them looked at? And it's like, they're doing some stuff, but they just, you feel bad for the kids. I mean, this is, obviously there's a pandemic going on, and you feel bad for a lot of people that don't have jobs, that are unemployed. Football players that are trying to earn scholarships and show who they are and have a future. So, there's a lot of struggling people in this country right now.
Pat, on recruiting, if players aren't playing in the fall, do you kind of expect a trend in guys maybe skipping that potential spring season to then enroll early?
If they can, John. Yeah, if they can, I expect that. And the NCAA hadn't come out and talked about a dead period. When can the kid visit campus? All that stuff. We still haven't heard. You hear rumors. I hear bad rumors. And, sure hope maybe they would ask a coach before they just go make decisions, but that probably won't happen. It's kind of how the NCAA's worked lately. they just make decisions that are, maybe not the best in interest of our student athletes, but, once we get on campus, I think things will change a little bit. When that is, I don't know. But so recruiting is just I'm worried about practice number 2.
Do you feel like recruiting visits can be done pretty safely? Like, do you think this is something they probably should let happen because it can be done with certain protocols and guidelines?
Yeah, I think, during the season, it depends on fans. And, I think we all have to be together on this. I don't think this is the ACC is going to do this and the Big Ten is going to do this. I think it's got to be something done through the NCAA. I think they need to take it month by month. If it's me, I wouldn't just say, hey, the whole fall is dead until January. I don't think I would do that. These kids need to get on campus at some point. They need to spend 48 hours on campus at some point. I wouldn't really want to mix them up with our football team right now and host them and do all that. I think I'll host them. I'll take them out at night. We'll have a great time. We'll go to the drive-in, do something like that. But so I think it's important just to keep the distance right now. But eventually we're going to have to bring them on. Whether it's December that we're able to have December visits and bring them here, show them the university. And really but just take it month by month.
At this point, do you think they have to move back the December signing day? I mean, do you think you can still sign kids if, they can't take visits until something like December?
I sure hope so. I mean, we've kind of, we've had this talk. I certainly believe they can. It's a two-way street. They haven't seen us. We haven't seen them, and I love again, I can't talk much about our recruiting class, but I love our class right now. And I think we got a great class. I love the people we have. And like I said, I haven't spent enough time with them, in the same room. But, that will come. But the contact I've had, through Zoom, through FaceTime, through the phone, we spent maybe more time with this class than any other class as far as just getting to know them and texting, because we've had unlimited calls through the summer. Usually we get one phone call in the month of May. So it's been unlimited calls. So we've had, a lot of football meetings, a lot of just talking meetings. So it's been good. So yeah, I do believe we can sign kids in December. I still hope they won't change. I mean, the one thing I look at is, the depression in this world right now is bad. Okay. And, I think everybody's depressed about, what they have, what they don't have, and everybody wants to see sports. That's why I'm so happy that we get to go out there. Man, our kids were just excited, like I said, to have a real practice and know that we actually can throw the ball down the field. We can, actually have a real football practice, and we're back together as a family. And I think the worst thing you can do is keep changing things on our kids. I mean, these kids, you get punched in the face, you get a right hook, left hook, and then an uppercut. I mean, how many more swings do we want these kids actually taking? I think we need to, we got to think about the future classes and, we've made commitments to kids to give them scholarships. They've made commitments to say, I'm coming to your university. And then we need to say, this is a signing date and this is going to be real. And you're allowed to sign on that date if you want to sign on that date. And I think, we have to be able to do that. I mean, you take that away, those kids are going to be looking like, is this real? We send out official offers. I had one kid texting back like, is this for real? Like, I really do have a scholarship. I'm like, well, we told you that a long time ago, like it's for real. Like when they see it on a piece of paper that this is your official scholarship offer, to say, that signing date in December is now all going to all of a sudden disappear. I think it's bad. I mean, February was dead for the first time ever because of a new NCAA rule. February, March, April, May, June, July. We're into August right now. 7 months. These kids haven't been able to leave their city, to go look at another campus. So I just think, and it's the same thing with our football schedule. I thought we should have kept our schedule, the 9 ACC games we had, and add one more. Our kids knew who those opponents were, even though our kids didn't care in the end. They were just happy to have, 10 opponents. But it's just more change for our kids. They've taken enough change in this 7 months that let's try to give them some stability.
Hey,
Yeah, several years ago in Charlotte, I was talking to Tom Luganbill of ESPN. He was talking to you, and he said that you liked all your career, you'd like to have 4-year seniors, 5-year seniors in your roster. You have a lot of those this year. How does that change the expectations for the team, and how does that change how are you going to approach coaching this team?
Yeah, the expectations don't change. We expect to win championships. That's our goal every year from year 1 to year 6. how you coach them, sometimes you coach them a little bit different. I mean, we got to take care of those older guys. There's some guys that we know can play. We're going to get them juiced up, get them oiled up, get them ready to go. There's some guys that, that you want to find out if they got more. So, we'll do a good job of, moving guys through the roster. Like, get Pat Jones out of there. Get Weaver. I've seen enough of Weaver. Jalen Twyman, put him over there. Let's get these young guys in there and just get them to the point. I don't want them to lose technique. And they want to play, but I also want to make sure that they're healthy going to the opener. They're fresh. So when you have older, more mature team, it gives you, the opportunity to maybe, develop some of the younger guys and freshen up some of those guys. So, I mean, Kenny looked sharp today. When you talk about senior, and this guy's locked in, serious, like, oof. Like, I just haven't seen it. I think I might have mentioned that last week. His face is a little bit different. I think he knows this is his last year and, like, this is real. He just has a different look, a serious quarterback look. People better watch out.
Does having that many seniors mean something for your program? A kind of a benchmark thing that, we've arrived now. We have guys sticking around, playing, being with us for 5 years. Is that a good thing for the program that these guys are sticking around?
It's a great thing for the program. I think anytime you had guys that could, leave for the NFL, and we know there's a bunch of them that left and a bunch of them didn't get drafted and a bunch of them had good opportunities. But I think it's a great thing for our program. It talks about the culture that we've built here at Pitt. When you talk about arriving, nobody's arrived, Jerry. Okay, you're the only one that's arrived. Nobody else has arrived here yet. We still got a long way to go. I haven't arrived. We got work to do, and there's other teams are working too. They got good players too. So nobody's arrived, and I want to make sure you don't ask any of our players, hey, since you've arrived, Jerry. Don't be asking our players that today. Nobody arrived.
Pat, you mentioned the look that that Kenny has. What does that do for the rest of the guys when the quarterback has that kind of swagger or look?
I think it gives them all confidence. I mean, he's leading out there. It's not leading and he doesn't know what he's leading. He knows what he's leading. He's coaching the receivers up. He's getting them to call, and it's kind of like a let's go. It's not a hey, let's go, guys. He's not trying to lead. He is leading. Okay, it's not fake. And sometimes you see it fake, but the look is good. The look is good out of Kenny, and the look is good out of our football team. Matter of fact, one thing I didn't hit is our summer conditioning. I wanted to hit you on a couple summer conditioning things I think you'll enjoy. Coach Stack kind of gave a little report to our team yesterday. I think we're well conditioned. Like, our guys went through practice today and they aren't breathing hard. They're not sucking wind. So our skill guys, our DBs and receivers, basically this is how much they ran this summer. They ran from Pittsburgh to Puxatawny. Okay, that's how far they went. So I don't know how many miles that is. Coach Stack didn't tell us. The mids, the linebackers, running backs, they went from Pittsburgh to Newcastle. Okay, so whatever miles that is, that's how much they ran. And our big guys went from Pittsburgh to Beaver Falls. Okay, so that's kind of our conditioning. So we've run a lot. I think we've run more last year before spring ball as a football team, and more this offseason, just kind of Coach Stack's philosophy, which I think is really good for us. It's be interesting to see how it pans out on game day. I'll give you a little bit of, just squat pluses, gains from our position groups since January till now. The average gain per position, I'll give you squats, quarterback plus 55 on the squat, running backs plus 20, tight ends plus 46 on the squat, O-line plus 40, receivers plus 32.5, D-line plus 40 on the squat, linebackers plus 43, DBs plus 50, and the specialists, if you care, plus 35. On the bench, quarterbacks went plus 20, running backs plus 25, tight ends plus 30, O-line plus 20 on the squat, receivers plus 22. The D-line went with a plus 45 on the bench, plus 30 for the linebackers, plus 35 for the DBs. And the specialists, they worked their bench up. They got plus 50, the bench. They had a lot of work to do there, it looks like. So just to give you, when you talked about looks, it reminded me I didn't give you any of the Pittsburgh to Puxatawny.
Coach, what about second year for Coach Whipple and taking the offense to another level? His, offense is considered to be complex. How will we see this second year of stability develop for this team and the set of skills that you have for 2020?
Yeah, well, we'll find out on game day, Larry. It's something I'm looking forward to. Just from watching the offseason, watching our opener against Virginia a year ago compared to where we were at the end of the season, I just see major confidence in the offense and what they're doing and how they're doing it. I think our receivers, you just watch them in walkthroughs, know where to go. They're reading coverages, they're reading DBs, they're reading linebackers leverage. They're finding grass and getting open. I think that's all part of it. Let me just tell you, since I've been here in 5 years, we had a 2-minute drill today, and I told the team afterwards, just our passing game, and obviously a 2-minute drill is passing. Actually, there was a few runs in there as well, but all three groups, we went ones, twos, and freshmen, and all three groups moved the football on our defenses better than I've seen them. Usually, it's an 8-minute period. We actually went over on the period because they moved the ball. Usually, it's an 8-minute period, and usually, summarize it, it's the defense goes 4 and out, and then the twos are up. Then there's a 4 and out, and then, but our offense moved the ball down the field, made plays at the receiver position. Quarterbacks were on target, and we actually got to work the clock and call timeouts and do all that. So we're way ahead in 2 minutes as well. But that just kind of tells you the passing game, and the key, I guess, Larry, to answer the rest of your question is the run game. We better get a run game going. We better be able to run the football this year to match our passing game, because I think we'll be able to throw the ball with anybody in the country. We're going to have to be able to run the football as well, much better than we did a year ago.
Do we have anything final for Coach before we move on to Coach Whipple? Anything final?
Real quick one, Pat, how are the freshmen going to fit into that offense, like Izzy and Jordan Addison? Do you not this year?
Both of those guys, obviously, you saw in the spring, and you guys still seeing flashbacks of Izzy going through the middle. Jordan Addison's got the nicest, softest, smoothest hands. He's got great breaks. He's electric. I see both of those guys playing for us this year because they had 3 days in spring ball. They were able to be on a ton of Zoom calls during our pandemic, and even some of the younger guys. I mean, we have a talented class, and we'll maybe talk in a few days. Maybe we'll take a freshman day and just talk. Hey, let's talk to puppies. But there's been some, like Emmanuel Belgraves goes by JoJo. Seen spurts out of him, and Dayon Hayes at end. Solomon DeShields has shown spurts. Emmanuel Belgrave. I mean, Rashad Battle, one of the last guys we signed, is like, ooh, look at that guy. And again, I don't want to leave any of the freshmen out, but I mean, talk 2 on offense. There's some skill on this football team in that class, and it's fun to watch them. And again, you look at Branson Taylor, that guy's huge, and he doesn't act like he's just a little freshman offensive lineman, because he ain't little.
Pat, really quick, I guess you might have, if you had any news, you might have mentioned it in the roster deal, but any update on Joey Yellen at all, or is that still? No.
Kind of disappointed. It's like, the clock is ticking, but I got confidence that waiver is going to go through, so I'm really not worried. If I thought it was a 50-50 shot, I might start to worry. But for his sake, I sure hope it goes through the right way, because it should, knowing some of the circumstances that I'm, that I have knowledge of.